All right, let's go. So today is Christmas. So first of all, Merry Christmas. And the main thing I want us to go over is basically why Christmas is probably the best time to refocus and plan ahead. Because yeah, we'll have New Year's, but let's be honest. On New Year's, we're already entering the new year and we'll already get into work, and basically we won't really have time to refocus, plan, and prepare for 2025, meaning that it's too late at that point. It is just a few days until the New Year's, but at the same time, this is when I think most of us have more free time. We don't have as much work to think about, even though personally I do have two calls tomorrow, so two business calls. And yeah, basically there are other people who are also still working, not really taking time off, maybe except today, right? Because almost everyone is spending time with their family or with their community if it's online. But we do have to reevaluate things every couple of weeks, months, or quarters. Anything more than that, and we're just moving too slow. Because you can look back and definitely you're in a much better place, hopefully, now than 1 year ago, right? In terms of how much you know, the connections you have, the opportunities you have, or the opportunities you get, or the opportunities you see. And that's one very important thing. The fact that we do get over time to know that there are more things that we can do. And this comes with a downside. The fact that you are not focused on enough on what you should be focusing on. And in most cases we do know, like we do know what brings us money, what brings us happiness, right? And then we have all of the other distractions that are like shiny objects, as others might say, the woman in the red dress. So something that catches your attention, but is not really useful or helpful for you. So with that, I didn't want to make this more of a reflection video because, for example, for me, 2024 was a pretty good year. I mean, I would say one of the best in terms of how much I earned, and then also the people I met. Let's say maybe even the relationships I created with the people I already know, right? Because you do need to go through some levels, even with the people that you know. You do have to go from like shallow conversations to deeper conversations. And that's where I think most of us probably can get better at, because every conversation starts with what you're doing or what are you working on, stuff like that, right? But then you find out, let's say, why someone is doing it, how far they want to go, and so on. Why they want to go so far. And as you can see, you can get pretty fast to these questions. Depends, of course, on how the conversation flows, but communication is definitely one of the most important things. That's why I'm actually communicating in front of the camera right now. I know I will get better. I'm also trying to, and actually replying to all the comments, because it's not like I'm getting hundreds, thousands. I just realized yesterday that I wasn't getting notifications and I wasn't responding. And at this point, I should be responding to all the comments, because they are not taking hours, they're just taking a couple of minutes. And what's nice when you just start out is that everyone is supporting you. So that's one of the reasons why you should start also creating content if you're not. And then when you get bigger overall, and I have, for example, with my channel in my native language, and on that one, I do tend to get sometimes more negative comments. And that's because, like, I wouldn't say I made it there, right? But when someone sees that you have enough subscribers, they have a certain expectation right from the get-go, right? And that's why the content is expected to be at a higher quality, even though you can do the same thing there. Like, set the expectation from the get-go that you're not necessarily trying to make videos that are highly produced, highly scripted. It's not a how-to, but more so sharing your experience, your thoughts, because I think this is where we're actually going. And even if you think about, let's say, a mastermind, right, where basically most of the people who make millions or hundreds of thousands per month are going, so paying maybe 15k, 25k, even more for some of those masterminds. And what do you actually do there? Yes, you do have some kind of structure to the presentations and so on, but it's basically just talking as you would in real life, right? And I think most of us actually appreciate that when we just have like a normal human interaction, like with our friends in high school or college, even if right now it's in business. And I think that's one of the most important things we can focus on, just creating more genuine connections in general, and also going in the right direction, right? So you do want to talk about the right things with the right people. So all of us here, I guess, more or less are thinking about business, about growth, personal growth, and I think this is actually what we should be doing, right? Just look at everyone in this world who's making money or who is happy. What do they usually have? And you can even look at your life. I'm also reevaluating mine every couple of weeks, months, and seeing the direction that I'm going towards. And it's always more or less the same thing, right? Having some kind of mission, working on something that you do enjoy to some extent, and having the right people in place, right? Like I do have multiple people, multiple personalities around me, and that's really helpful. Actually, having people who, let's say, are more chatty, people who see the world differently, and that's how you also get new perspectives, because like you can't do it all, right? Actually, in general, you do realize over time that you just need to do one or two things really well, and then just complement them with some, let's say, communication skills or softer skills, right? And Christmas is definitely one of those times when you have 1 or 2 days, maybe 3, 4, 5, depending on your schedule with the weekend, when you can probably drink and relax or overeat, spend time with your friends, let your nervous system calm down, because there's no work that has to be done unless you run paid ads like me, so you might need to still check them, but overall there's no high expectation during this time. So that's why there's more room for your brain to actually just think more creatively and connect the dots, because this is what you typically do. You connect the dots and see where you might be not connecting them, such as, let's say you want freedom, but then you look at all the actions that you're doing right now, so you see that there's some kind of disconnect, right? So you have to disconnect some dots and reconnect them to others. And it's the same thing in marketing. You do have some time right now to reevaluate what you're doing, and it's clear that the online world is shifting all the time, slowly, but then one interesting thing is that it moves slowly at first, gradually, but then you don't realize when the shift happened, right? Just like with the iPhone. For example, the iPhone that we have now, or the Android, whatever phone you're using, is totally different from the one from 2007, 8, right? When they first released it. But if you kind of think about it, it's not that different, meaning that you call people, you have apps. So the camera got better, right? But that doesn't really feel as if it changed your life. So there are some things that don't really mean that much. So it's just like with the MacBook Airs, if you know them, or MacBooks in general. When Apple released the M chips that were made by them, that was a huge leap. That's when I actually bought one. But until then, I wouldn't say there was anything major. That's why they probably didn't have too much market share. But at one point, they probably realized, they reevaluated what they were doing, and they saw that there was a huge inefficiency just because they were not taking care of something that they could have done themselves and do it better. And this is something that we can also do right now. Looking at what we're doing, where we might need help, where we might need to buy a course, mentors, get in touch with other people for free, right? Because like so many people will talk with you for free without like asking you for money or you having to work for them for free and so on, right? So there are so many connections that you can make in this world. Ideally a win-win, right? You don't want to take, you want to give as well. But yeah, this was just more so a brain dump, I guess. So not the most helpful video, probably, but that's why sometimes you just have to let your brain flow, not overthink, not overscript, and so on. And yeah, just let things be. So with that, we'll end for today, and we'll talk tomorrow, probably more about business, being more specific about some things that I'm doing or that the market might be shifting towards. So yeah, that's all for today, and see you tomorrow.